My name is John, but you can call me Uncle Phil. Today, I am taking you back in time, not just to a history lesson, but to a memory, a story that runs deep in my bones. I was there, a young sailor, when the world changed in the waters of Manila Bay. This is the story of that day, as I lived it. Welcome to Tales by Uncle Phil. The air in Hong Kong was thick with anticipation. We'd been docked there for weeks, our ships gleaming under the Asian sun, waiting for the word. When it finally came, it spread like wildfire. War with Spain. Our target, their fleet in the Philippines. Commodore George Dewey, a man carved from Vermont granite, gathered us on the deck of the Olympia. His words were few, but they echoed in our souls. We were sailing into history. The night we entered Manila Bay was darker than any I'd ever known. It was April 30th, 1898. We were a phantom squadron, slipping past the fortress of Corregidor. The Spanish were supposed to have guns there, big ones, that could tear us apart. We held our breath, every creak of the ship sounding like a thunderclap in the oppressive silence. A spark from one of our funnels lit up the night for a second, and a single Spanish shell screamed over our heads, splashing harmlessly into the water. That was it. We were through. We were inside their lair, and they barely knew we were coming. The tension was so thick you could taste it, a mix of salt and fear. We were boys, most of us, sailing towards a destiny we couldn't yet comprehend, under a sky full of unfamiliar stars. The sun rose on May 1st like a blood orange, revealing the Spanish fleet huddled under the guns of the Cabot Naval Station. They weren't in the main bay as we'd expected, but tucked away a line of gray ships against the green shore. Admiral Montoyo had made his stand. Our squadron, the Olympia in the lead, began a slow, deliberate procession. We steamed in a long oval, each pass bringing us closer. The Spanish guns opened up first, their shots kicking up geysers of water on us, but none found their mark. We held our fire, the discipline hammered into us by months of drills. I remember standing by my station, knuckles white, my heart a drum against my ribs. Then came the moment. We were just 5,000 yards away. Commodore Dewey, calm as if ordering his morning coffee, turned to our captain on the bridge of the Olympia. His voice carried across the deck, clear and steady. "You may fire when you are ready, Ridley." It was as if the world exploded. Our 8-inch guns roared to life, a deafening thunder that shook the very air we breathed. The entire squadron erupted in a symphony of destruction. Smoke, thick and acrid, billowed across the water, blinding us. All you could see were the flashes of enemy guns and the bright, terrible blossoms of our shells hitting home. We kept making those long elliptical passes, 5 times in total. Each time we got closer, our aim got deadlier. The Spanish flagship, the Reina Cristina, was a sight to behold. She charged out to meet us, a brave but foolish move. Every gun in our fleet seemed to turn on her. I watched as our shells ripped through her hull and superstructure. Fires broke out all over her decks. It was a hellscape of twisted metal and flame. She turned to retreat, but it was too late. A shell from the Olympia hit her bridge, and we heard later that it had killed her captain and many of her officers. Admiral Montoyo had to transfer his flag to another ship as his own vessel burned and began to sink. We saw Spanish sailors jumping into the water, their white uniforms stark against the dark, hoary sea. It was brutal, efficient, and horrifying all at once. The pride of the Spanish Navy was being annihilated before our very eyes. Then, the strangest thing happened. Just after 7:30 in the morning, right in the middle of this chaos, we were ordered to withdraw. The word spread through the crew like a shockwave. We were low on ammunition. Disbelief turned to dread. Had we come all this way just to run out of shells? We pulled back out of range, leaving the Spanish fleet a smoking ruin, but still afloat. As we steamed away, a silence fell, broken only by the crackle of distant fires and the groans of our own ship. And then we had breakfast. I know it sounds unbelievable, but it's the truth. The cook served us coffee and hardtack, and we sat on the decks, watching the enemy burn while we ate. It was the most surreal meal of my life. The tension of the morning gave way to a strange, almost giddy calm. We could see the devastation we had caused. From our vantage point, it looked like half their fleet was on fire. It was during that break that the real report came in. The first message about ammunition had been a mistake, a miscommunication in the heat of battle. We had plenty of shells left. A wave of relief and a grim sense of purpose washed over us. The job wasn't finished. Around 11 in the morning, rested and fed, we went back in. This time, there was no grand maneuvering, no brave charge from the enemy. It was a methodical execution. What was left of the Spanish fleet could barely fight back. Their ships were burning wrecks, their guns mostly silent. We moved in and finished the job one ship at a time. By noon, it was over. White flags began to appear over the Spanish arsenal at Cavite. The silence that followed the battle was deeper and more profound than the silence of the night before. All we could hear was the gentle lapping of the bay and the distant sound of crackling flames. In 7 hours, we had destroyed an entire fleet without losing a single man to combat, not one. It felt like a miracle, a divine judgment. But as the smoke cleared, we saw the true cost. The Spanish losses were catastrophic. Hundreds of sailors killed or wounded. Their ships were twisted, blackened hulks, sinking into the shallow water. We had been instruments of a terrible, swift destruction. The victory was absolute, but the sight of it was sobering. That day, May 1st, 1898, wasn't just the end of the Spanish fleet, it was the end of an era. We came to the Philippines to fight a war that had started over Cuba, spurred on by the cry, "Remember the Maine." We won the battle, but in doing so, America found itself with a new position, a colony on the other side of the world. The Filipinos, who had been fighting for their own independence from Spain, at first saw us as liberators, but soon they would learn they had only traded one master for another. The Battle of Manila Bay was just the beginning of a much longer, and in many ways sadder story. I've lived a long life since that day. I've seen the world change in ways I could never have imagined as that young sailor. But the memory of that morning, the smoke, the thunder of the guns, the calm command of Commodore Dewey, and the surreal breakfast break, it's all etched into my soul. It was a day of terrible power and profound consequence, a day that shaped the century to come. Thank you for listening to my story. If you found this tale from the past meaningful, please consider subscribing to the channel. There are many more stories to tell. This is Uncle Phil signing off.